Generation Dan.
Eventually, right?
Yeah.
It's just...
No, the Generation Dan, the podcast where we talk about generational differences and all that stuff. I'm Atlas Novak. I'm your millennial.
I'm Dino the Gen X Marvel. I'm your Gen Xer. And we have a difference of opinion. And thank you, Joey. Joey Edibles is watching. And sure enough, he's like, the title of the show might as well have been titled, Is Fat Dino Funnier Than Me and Dino? Definitely a question I'm asking myself. I'll tell you that straight up.
I feel like this comes into the TikTok Pro. Let's go live.
Let's go live. You're like,
look,
thanks, Joey.
Look, I considered putting clips of this on TikTok, but I'm so lazy because I just don't want to take out clips and then put them up there. I'm sorry.
No, it's true.
Victoria was doing it for a little bit, wasn't she?
I was doing it.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah. I was like a madman.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting. So.
Hey, it's Serge too. Hey, what's happening,
What's up,
Serge? It's, you know what, that's the thing is, like, I want to do clips and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, God, it's such a pain in the ass because, and people don't, hey, what's up, Walkie Talkies Neat? It's there's so much more to it that it's like, no, it takes up time, and it's like, I'd rather just try and be naturally funny. So like right now, I loaded up, if you guys check out my YouTube channel, I did a short today where I compared what Victoria made for our meal and what I got. And because I'm being really, really strict about what I eat to try. Joey's saying hi to everybody. It's like a community of weirdos. I love it. I've got 10 clips, not one today. Exactly, right? So it's like some of them will blow up. Like I have a few that got a couple thousand views, which is awesome. And then a few that go right to crapper. And you're like, I thought that was funny. I did one the other day about me not committing murders while I was on my fast. Which I'm like, it's surprising because I still have the face of a murderer. Like, there's no question. But at the same time, just doesn't.
You're gonna go from Hagrid to Ray Fiennes,
right? It's like, hey, you're probably more open to a lot more people thinking you're attractive. That's nice, but at the same time, still definitely a murderer. You're like, I am so close. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, like, so I guess we should just say what the topic is. So, is physical comedy a scam?
There you go. We're on opposing sides. Episode 92 is physical comedy a scam.
I hate that picture that you have of me.
I like it so much because you just have this, I'm looking off into nothing and judging it so poorly.
Because I wasn't judging. I was just looking out into the distance for whatever. But, and what did you call it? The California scowl?
The California scowl. That's right. So Serge, oh my God, Serge, what the fuck, man? I hope you're okay. I'm glad you're recovering. That's hard to go through at any point in time. I'm in the situation like right now where I've dropped so much weight, and like Alice is a nice guy, and he's like, oh, don't try and start. Like me, I'm waiting for a motherfucker to try because I got hands that are fast now, right? I'm not held back. I'm only held back by the fact that I'm an old man and not up to doing stuff. But aside from that,
have you ever been mugged?
Oh no, I've had people try. That's happened a couple times.
And that counts, yeah. Where someone tried to mug you. What happened?
Oh, I just looked at my eye and go, really? He's like, no. Okay, just have fun. I once caught a young boy trying to pickpocket me, and I grabbed his hand, and then I lifted him up by said hand off the ground, while all of his little cohorts were like in the nooks and crannies of the alleyway, and they were like, and I'm like, I believe that's my pocket, not yours. He's like they just freak out, right? Because immediately what the normal response to especially children thieves is they get whipped, they get hurt. And for me, I'm like, I feel bad about hitting children because like it's not like,
a hot take here on Generation. I feel bad about hitting children.
Not always. Like some kids deserve it. I told my in-laws that I'm like, if we have kids, I'm like, if they have to, like, I'm the youngest of 5. I'm a jerk, right? My wife is an only child. She is definitely a jerk too. So I'm like, the likelihood that we'll have a nice, peaceful child that's like, Mommy, may I have some more? They'll be like, fuck this shit. Like they'll immediately be, some character out of wrestling. Like that's immediately. So I don't know. That's why. But yeah, no, I try not to just beat other people's children. If I had children, I would happily beat them. Let's be very clear on that.
That's gonna be clipped and shown to us in a few years when we've made it, and they're gonna be like, Dino, the genetic marvel, likes to beat children. You know.
Hey, that's the one. So, can I ask you a question on this? Have you ever looked back at stuff and been like, "Ooh, I don't really feel that way anymore"? Like, I'm very careful,
definitely.
like what I'll say. Where I'm like, "Am I committed to this?" Because if I'm not committed to it, then I'll be like, I'll make sure I give an a wavering place where I'm like, you really don't want to be kids, but some kids need a beating. I know I did when I was young, so it's like, it's a situational thing. And hey, there's a Walmart down the street. Why not?
I think the biggest example of something where I had that opinion change was like pre-2016. I really thought Elon Musk was cool, and then
Sure,
that has taken a large 180. Not just because of the Twitter thing, or the first like indication of maybe he's not that cool was the rescuing the kids from the cave, and then he called the diver that was going to go get them a pedophile for no reason.
he did.
Yeah. So like, okay, so if you remember, all these kids are like trapped in a cave, and they're like, we gotta go get them. So they hire this professional diver who's going to go in one by one to go get them.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk had built his like, I don't know, German U-boat or whatever the fuck he was building, that submarine thing.
Yeah.
And the diver was like, I don't think this is a good idea. Like, I checked it out. There's all these really tight turns. That sub's not going to be able to fit in there. He's like, fucking pedophile, and then leaves. Like,
listen,
yes, that's good. That is a great example. Rudy Giuliani. Like, Katie and I watched the movie The Wedding Planner because we're watching wedding movies, and there's a thing where they're like the great Rudy Giuliani. I was like, this is a 2002 as fuck movie.
Oh yeah. Like, remember, he was the world's mayor, and you're like, no, he's a dipshit. So this is, what the worst part about it is, because like Elon, he posed himself at that certain point, especially like before then. He's like, he posed himself like he was Iron Man, right? Like he could just magically come in and fix things.
He was in the Iron Man movies. He was
as someone who could come and fix things, right? Like it was. So you're just kind of standing going, okay, I understand that, but like, how it's not a movie, bro. It's real life, right? So it's like, how are you planning on doing that? And then you're going, oh, and then like when you told me, you're like, oh, he's been like teasing the idea of a what was it, a monorail, whatever you guys were going to get in California to attach you to the rest of the universe.
The
something Hyperloop was it called?
Yeah,
right.
So the Hyperloop is literally like, they dug a subway tunnel and then didn't put a subway in it. They were just like, all right.
Yeah.
Because he hates traffic, but he doesn't get that like more public transit means less traffic.
Well, no, he just doesn't. So this is where we differ. Is I think he knows that, he just doesn't care. He wants to essentially just bog down the system enough that he looks good. Like, it's a very, very smart technique. I have used this many times in my past. There was, you make everything else look horrible, and then you come in as a shining knight. I've done that before.
Yeah.
Well,
the
for
fact
random
that
circumstances, that's fine.
He slowed down the expansion of the metro in Los Angeles by going up to the city and be like, guys, don't worry about it. I got this. And they were like, oh, really? That's awesome. He's like, see ya. And then just never. Yeah. And they were like, okay, he's not coming back. Let's start doing the metro again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hold on. Elon made his money from apartheid. Oh, yeah. That's also true. Which, let's be honest, there are a lot of people who made money from apartheid in South Africa, and they should be held accountable because you know what? That's life.
Which is why I sometimes I have this fantasy of like, because he keeps like bumbling his way into stupid shit now. And the funniest thing in the world to me would be if he like Venmos everybody $5,000 while shitting himself to death. That would be like that thing where I'm like, this is a simulation. That's like my Truman Show moment, right? But I'm thinking that's such a stupid way to want him to go out, but it's really, really funny. Mm-hmm. So.
Which brings us to our topic, sir.
Yes.
Right at the 10-minute mark. We actually did that perfectly. That was fantastic. So an ongoing joke of the shows has been and will always be.
I have shit in my pants right now. I shit my pants.
Exactly. Those. Thank you to Joey Edibles. Shout out. But realistically, that's hilarious. That's hilarious to everyone and anyone. Anyone who's like, that's not really funny. You're a fucking liar. Right?
Well, because here's the thing: as a kid, you're told like that's not funny. Stop being crude or whatever. And then like you learn throughout history that like Martin Luther, Mozart, these people thought poop jokes were funny.
Yeah. Well, and that's listen, I have an entire bit about fat people falling down. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it is absolutely hilarious. And anyone who says it's not, you're a fucking liar.
Can you give us like a TLDR of it?
I will tell you the story because it's hilarious. Me and Victoria went to the movie theater. Now, this movie theater is called the Coliseum, so it's got kind of different staircases going to different areas of theaters, right? So there's like shitty, smaller ones, a little bit bigger, and then you have to go upstairs and get the big ones with AVX and all sorts of shit. So as we're sitting there, there's a small little ramp, and you see Mr. and Mrs. Potato are at the top of the ramp, and they get down to about 2 steps up from the ground. Okay. And Mrs. Potato, I call her Mrs. Potato because she was a circle with hands and feet. Okay. She dive bombs like a peregrine falcon off the second step and just lands. As soon as she lands, I am about to die. Now, Mr. Potato Head, not Mr. Potato Head, Mr. Potato. Straight, okay? We're not licensed for that. So Mr. Potato could barely reach down far enough to connect with Miss Potato to try and help her up, and he was failing. It was kind of like a miss. It's too. My hands are covered in butter, kind of thing. Very, Yeah. And then, sure enough, she was kind of rolling back and forth like a turtle on her back, and she was like, I can't. I'm so injured now. Mr. Manager comes over. And he is maybe 130 pounds soaking wet. Maybe. And he says, is there something I can do to help? And I bend over. I'm like, what? You got a forklift in your pocket? It was awesome.
Yeah.
My Victoria looked at me and she goes, you're going to hell just for this specific time in your life. Just right now. I was keeled over laughing my ass off. Now, at the same time, let's be fair. I was also 400 pounds. So fat on fat crime. It's fair. Yeah. Okay, it's totally reasonable.
It's just one of those things where like that initial wonk, the punch, the like slap on the top of the head. The Three Stooges are some of the most like popular comedians in the world because physical comedy is universal, no matter what culture you're from.
It is translatable into all languages. Mm-hmm. It is applicable to all people, things, races, genders, whatever you want. There's no time that someone falling, and of course not getting injured. Right? Yeah.
Mrs. Potato had his top tier hot with the likes of Jessica Rabbit and April O'Neil.
Listen, she's committed to the cause. I'm with you, bro.
Okay, yeah.
By the way, the new April O'Neil.
Yeah.
Disappointed. Because it's not. It was. I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, the point is this.
Translatable to all languages, universal. What were you saying?
It is so universal, bro. I may or may not have. Who hasn't? Come on, Jessica Rabbit's the best. But like, there's no person that isn't going to laugh at someone falling down. Granted, if they get hurt, like every time, and this is one of the. I think you may have told me this was that you're old when you trip and fall. And nobody laughs, and people are like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm an old person now." Damn.
That wouldn't have been me. I think that, like, if I had told that to you, that was told to me by another person.
Sure, that's fine. It's about the sharing of knowledge, right?
I know. I'm pretty sure it might have been my dad.
Probably.
And for first-time listeners, my dad has Parkinson's, so that's got an extra layer.
Also a bit of a savage, let's be honest. He says things. He's like, whatever. What are you gonna do? I'm old.
I ain't got no verbal filter.
I feel like that's the best part of growing up, where you realize you're like, listen, because there's a difference between being an edgy comic, which is you're not. Anyone who says they're an edgy comic is not an edgy comic. You're just an asshole. That's just straight up. Just so you know. Okay. But people
I speak the truth, man.
Yeah, you're like, no, whose truth? They're dumb numbnuts. Yeah. So whereas
charger, keep talking.
Yeah, grab it. But the physical side of things is just so ridiculous, right? Because like we grew up every Sunday. There would be like 2, maybe 3 hours that everyone saw your wiener. Just so you know, everyone saw your wiener. Just to be very clear, Atlas. It's like people who say I know I am funny aren't funny. Oh, that's 100%. And also, you know what? Guys who will say, "Well, she's funny for a girl." You're like, that guy's not funny. I'll tell you that right now, because you know why? Funny is genderless. It is raceless, not racist, raceless. Okay, being funny it's ageless. It does not make a difference, right? So when you go, well, they're funny for a woman. No, maybe they're just not funny. That's fine. But you saying it, you're definitely not funny. You're a piece of shit. But I think about it this way is like, I personally, the only time that I fell and didn't laugh was because I cracked my own rib. I was like, oh God. And a little man, just like Mr. Manager, probably karma for me telling that story. This little Asian man walked up, leaned over and was like, can I help? And I'm like, well, you got a forklift? Keep on walking, old man. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Do you have the traffic? Do you have the same line for every time someone falls over?
Yeah. Always.
Yeah, that's all I got. I'm like Republicans with the attack helicopter thing. I got one joke.
You know what? See, this is the problem. Is that if comedians realize what kind of audience they could get at a Republican Party, they won't go back. It's just so.
I think a few
you
of
can't be offensive. You can't, because they're fucking retarded sometimes.
Yeah, a few people have realized that, and his name is Adam Carolla and
Jimmy Dore.
Yeah,
this is like the worst. This is one of those things where like I love the idea of universally hilarious somebody getting smacked in the face on stage, which I have done, and I do have that on my YouTube channel. Is not just gloriously entertaining, but it is something that like everyone enjoys. And it's no person will stand there going, you did not smack him. They go, please smack him again. Because it's great. It's great to watch.
The slap bet on How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, I love the slap bet. As someone who can slap and take a person out, okay, I have. I even have, like, somebody tried to fight me and I was like, and they're like, oh, no, I can't. I'm like, stop. You froze up.
Fact that they added more slaps as they were getting to the end of it, like, I'll let you do it 3 more slaps, and like they made it part of the story, right? But they're like, this is too funny to have Marshall like hit Barney and it just takes him off his feet, you know.
Hey, I've smacked 2 people on stage. Both of them went off their chair. Hold on, what was Joey saying? That being said, it's hard for women comics to separate guys who are laughing because they want to plow it. That's also an issue.
Yeah.
And also, too, you know what? You have to get through that. And that's like, I feel like the importance of understanding a character, like people's character, like who they are as a person, is one of the most important lessons that my father ever taught me, and my mother, my whole life. Like, that's a huge thing. Republicans freaking will laugh at this. Yeah, they will. There are good people everywhere, but at the same time, sometimes you're like, this bar's a little bit low. It's just, come on. It's where so many comics just fall flat, in my opinion. Like, don't make fun of the people making fun of the trans. No. I suppose the trans way more laughs than the other side. It's true, though. I'll take one for the team and plow you, bro. See? But that's the whole thing, right? Like, listen, if you can play a joke on somebody and it's physical in nature, I think it's hilarious. I really do.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of that in California?
Well, for Katie's, it was Christmas this year. I got her a Christmas present, and then I printed 5 slap coupons, which have a picture of Marshall hitting on them. Because she like when she gets all worked up, she'll be like, I want to hit you. I'm like, you want to like hurt me? She's like, no, I just want to like, I wish you were made of rubber so I could just like punch you and then it'd be fine. And I'm like, okay, so I couldn't take a punch, but because she's kicked me in the stomach a couple of times.
Kicked you. Okay, kicking in the stomach is not a nice thing. That is not
not forcefully. It's like we're sitting on the couch, her legs are on mine, and then she like goes to stand up and pushes, that kind of thing. So with the slap, I feel like I can take a slap from, my 5'2" fiance. So I got the for. She's used it one time.
That's fair.
And I'm kind of sad. I'm like, was it not a good gift? She's like, no, it was a good gift. You haven't pissed me off enough to warrant using it. I'm like,
so
okay,
you remember. So just so you know, that's a lie. What she's doing is, I'm going to need these more close to the wedding and after the wedding. Straight up. That's
yeah.
She is a smart lady, sir.
Yeah.
What you need is document everything. Okay, sir. And you make sure you don't. Even Victoria, I made fun of her because I was like, "Oh, do you want to punch me?" She's like, "I'm so angry." I'm like, "Do you want to punch me?" She's like, "No, I don't want to hurt you." I'm like, "You are incapable of causing me pain. Just like internally, women are the best at destroying your inner self. But physically, I'm like, there's nothing. I'm like, you could punch me directly into the nose, and it's not going to break. Like, it's not." Nothing's gonna happen. She's like, okay. She hits me. I'm like, did you feel better? You feel better? Good. It's important.
That's weirdly patronizing. People in California don't like to be touched, from what I've read. I'm extremely ticklish, sir.
It's a rule. It's a boundary for principles, sir.
Well, okay. I kind of get the whole like don't invade my personal space thing, which I also hear is more of like a thing in the U.S. than it was in Europe.
All over the world. All over
really?
the world. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why people have said that, like, the chance of a virus or bacteria getting transferred in other nations is very likely, because people will hold hands and walk around as a measure of safety, right? Men with men, women with women. This is I remember going to Greece when I was younger, and obviously, fractionally retarded. We saw girls holding hands, and my brother's like, "Hey, maybe they're lesbians," and I'm like, "I don't think everyone's a lesbian that's holding hands." And he's like, "They're definitely lesbians." I'm like, "We had a sheltered life. It's fine. We had money and stuff to do, right?" So it's like when you have
money and stuff to do.
Yeah, when you have stuff to do, you can't let your mind wander, because you have, like, we were operating stuff with steel and shit, right? So it's not like if you're not paying attention, you die. My brother has a hook finger because of it. It's like it hooks at the end because the top got popped right off. Because,
oh my god!
Yeah, no, it was a real thing. It happened when I was in grade 5. He was in grade 7. It was the day we had parent-teacher interviews, and we didn't get to mine. Boom! It was great.
Okay, so the fact that he cut his finger off like fucking Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath,
it launched like 2 meters.
It launched.
Hey,
okay. Okay. He got his finger cut off, and I'm trying not to laugh right now
because it's fucking hilarious, bro.
Objectively,
I call him Captain Hook still. Okay, I'm like, "What's up, Hook Finger?" And he's like, "Shut the fuck up, man." I'm like, "Whatever. You're the one with the hook for the finger."
Dude, imagine like you're going through puberty, and then you walk into school with a hook hand. Like it.
How you're forever Hook? You're forever like Buddy Hook. Like you can't be Captain Hook because that's already taken. You can be like Joe Schmo Hook guy. You know, like it's absolutely horrible.
Buddy Hook is not too bad either.
Buddy Hook is not too bad. That may be a character.
Yeah.
I'm Buddy
Hook.
Hook.
Like just imagine like season 3 of Boy Meets World. Sean shows up with a fucking hook hand.
Right? Do you remember Arrested Development was what's his face?
Michael Cera or
no, the other guy who got a hook for the hand because he got bitten off by a
I'm
seal.
a monster. Yeah, I've used that gif so many times. Yeah.
But that's the thing though, is like Sam Kinison was killed by a drunk driver. Come on, Joey, why are you bringing this today?
Oh, come on.
Is it really?
Was he I thought he drank himself to death.
No.
Oh.
He actually got sober, and he was he had made amends with his wife, and they were back together, and things were like finally because like sobriety is weird, right? Because if you ever suffer from addiction to that level, whether it be alcohol, drugs, it doesn't make a difference. Women, just gambling, all those things, right? You kind of have to go through to the other side, and then it's like, bro, the sky's the limit, because it's like, no, I spit in the devil's face, right? Like that's the real deal, right? So everything was going fine. And what happened was he was behind a van with his brother or something, and he passed and got fucking taken out. Like somebody was passing on the other side randomly, and it's like normally he was never in front. He was always behind his brother's van. That's how they would get places. And just he randomly went in front, and then someone else did the same thing, and he was in a Corvette and got fucking.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's horrible, especially to have gone through what he went through. Like that guy, his wife didn't treat him well around when he was suffering from addiction too, because she was too. Like it was a very toxic relationship, and they both got through it. Which you're like, that's usually one of them dies. Like that's usually what happens, because addiction is horrible, right? But is your brother famous with the ladies using that hook? No, but he's great at picking his nose, and he's got a bigger schnoz than I do. So,
dude, I envy the ability to like pick your nose better.
My wife makes fun of me because I use my index finger, and she's like, your nose is so big and your fingers are so big. Like, so she's like, why don't you use your pinky? I'm like, it just doesn't get the right thing. I'm like, it's not. I need my pointer.
It's the kind of thing where you're picking your nose and you're like hunting for the one where it's like it feels you're pulling a piece of your brain out. Like you want to get it, but you can never quite get it.
Bro.
This is what I've been worrying about from 3 years old to now. My entire life has just been about picking my nose.
Have you ever tried to learn the skill of the snot rocket? Because I know
how to do the snot rocket. Easy.
But have you trained so that it's a close quarter defense, sir? Because I'll tell you right now, is I will pow and just I'll get you with a hard one too.
It's got to be like that's how epilepsy is caused, kids.
You pull out too many boogers. You pull out too many boogers, and that's definitely how you.
I'm kidding. No, but with the snot rocket as a defense thing, no, it's got to be. It's like an event, right? Where I'm like, okay, gotta get ready. It's like in Harry Potter where I gotta flick the wand and say the thing, and then like in the later movies, you're like, they're not saying anything; they're just throwing spells. They're going,
Boogero, dismisso, something.
Yeah,
expecto
ex nihilo patronum. Yeah.
What if your Patronus was a booger monster? I feel like that'd be awesome.
It's the guy from the Mucinex commercials.
Listen, okay.
So if anybody draws fan art of this show, Mucinex Patronus, I want it. Let's
Atlas shooting it like a full. Yeah. His Patronus is the mucus guy. He's like, no legs, just a slime, like a that makes sense. Makes the most sense.
Oh my god.
See, that's like the best joy. Like especially now that when my fattest, my apnea was like just killing me, and like my boogers were heinous. Yeah. And like there were times when I'd get a good one and pull, and it's like a lot would come out, and my wife was like, my bad.
It's like it's dry because it's a booger, but there's like a whip to it because there's like the snot part of it too. Yeah, definitely.
And if you don't twist it when it comes out, it just dangles and then drops. You got to make sure it wraps around your finger.
I know. I went on a road trip with Katie over the weekend, and like I was every time she would go to sleep, like for a few minutes, I would just furiously pick my nose.
Yeah,
while she was asleep and wait for, and then she wakes up, wasn't doing anything, still driving. You
know what? So you remember after you're married, pick it and just go click right on her cheek, and watch it go. You're like, sorry, we're married now. That's it. Now we're in it together.
Proud of you.
Yeah. I find it interesting that I'm like, I'll pick my nose in front of my wife. I'm like, I don't care. Why? Yeah. I got to pick my nose. I'm like, also, I'll make little balls and flick it out my window. I don't give a shit. So
I've definitely done that. That's pretty fun.
That's a gentleman's removal of the booger. Okay? Make it a little ball and then shoot it on somebody else's window. At a stoplight is best just before the green hits, and go, flick, and drive away.
Do it on a Tesla. Double points on a Tesla. Take that, Elon Musk. Full circle.
Once I was driving a work truck, and I had like a big fucking a monster. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
like it had caused me discomfort for 3 days, and I finally got this son of a bitch. Okay, and I looked over, someone had been tailgating me, and I was like a loaded pickup truck. I just reached out and just right onto his moonroof. I'm like, flick, and it was like, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't give a shit. What is it?
And he's never gonna see that until he like
Advice.
gets out
Listen
of the
to
car.
Dino on Marriage, not like me or Cole. That's right. If you want to have a good marriage, every once in a while, wipe a booger on her face, and she'll know that she's marked as yours. Other men will know too. That's scientific.
I wonder if our old co-host Caleb is taking these to heart. I don't know if he still listens to the show or not.
I hope he does, because
yeah.
let's be honest, is definitely that woman beat him. There's no question. She was very attractive. But
she was hilarious.
Hilarious. She was great. But definitely, see, this is the weird thing.
She's scary. Scary lady.
I find women, certain women, especially a woman who's very, very good looking and knows it, but like uses it as part of their arsenal, they freak me the fuck out, because I'm like, I can't, anything you say, I don't believe. Just immediately, right? They're like, oh, like, you did so great. I'm like, you're a fucking liar. What do you want? Yeah. Just immediately, right? It's some people shit on the new ones. That is, you know what? That's the one thing
that's what Martin Luther did. Did you know that? No. He's like, he wrote his 98 Theses, and then he gave her 98 feces.
Oh, that's horrible.
That was awful.
Awful.
Flicked me out the window like a booger. Defenestrate me like Prague. Let's go.
But that's like, realistically, that's one thing that I've always been happy about was with my ex-wife. She would be like, "Oh, just leave the door open." Like she would walk into the bathroom if I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here." I'm like, yeah. I do not. That is a fortress of privacy. Yeah. And I'm like, absolutely under no circumstances is that mystery dying. I'm like, you stay the fuck out of my bathroom while I'm going. That just do not, like that's and I give my wife that privacy too. I'm like, absolutely not.
Look,
that's just good advice.
Same, but I also have too many stomach problems for her not to have heard it.
Hearing and seeing, two very different things.
Okay, because like recent episode of this show,
non-Catholics.
That was more a 30 Years War joke. That was less. Oh, because of Martin Luther. Yeah, never mind. Maybe.
Martin Luther shit on his wife.
Yeah. So you were talking about the defenestration of Prague thing. I'm like, that's 30 Years War. That's not explicitly religious. What was it? Okay, so she on a recent episode of this show, I had to go use the bathroom twice because I was shitting my guts out. And you guys just kind of kept it going, which is good. But
let me see if I still have.
Oh no, what do you have?
No, I was looking for Caleb when he said the poop has arrived, but it's not on here. And it's
I have shit in my pants right now.
It's just we just got that one, right?
Yeah, just got that one. But anyway, so like she knows that I'm horrible.
Sure.
And she like I make a point of like if she's in the bathroom, I don't I don't want to give her anxiety or whatever.
Sure.
She talks to me while I'm on the can all the freaking time.
I you know what? I get
as soon as cheeks hit the seat, babe.
I would respond with, "Don't come in here," just immediately. Don't come in here.
Well, I go, yeah, and then a little more silence, babe, and I'm like, I don't think she can hear me answer.
I believe what she's doing is using that magical talent that like a parent uses. You know how parents like they'll call your name and then you're like, "What?" And then you go find out they're like, "Could you not hear me?" They're like, "Yeah, why don't you come down?" You're like, "Yeah, okay, just say come down." Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you, I'm in the middle of something. You don't have to fucking bait me into it. Yeah. So I would just be like, "Pooping." Yeah. No, that's
objectively again funny. It's like
men are not capable of just doing combat with women. Just period. Will.
This is why I I especially like women doing poop jokes because it's
yes, or dick jokes.
Yeah, dick jokes. Because like you're taught from a young age that's not ladylike or whatever.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. But it's just really fucking funny. when she was like, "Dude, I had the period shits last night, and I destroyed my toilet." Like, it's funny.
Shits are funny. Periods are not. I will go on record saying that it's gross. Definitely. There are a few girls in this scene who are very funny, very talented. They write for shows and everything, very impressive. But one of them does a joke about that she's a vampire for a few days every month, and I was like, like it's just too. I'm like, absolutely not. I can't. Just absolutely not.
What? She's like, I want to suck your blood, and also get me a gallon of Ben and Jerry's Rocky Road.
So good. Sorry, somebody just sent me something, and I'm gonna have to load it up because it's
is it? What's the?
It's a T-shirt, and it's a T-shirt just for you, Atlas. I'll tell you that right now. It's a T-shirt.
Even better than Otto von Bismarck saying, "Always have a plan." Thank you, extra credits team.
It's
what is this thing? You ain't cool.
You ain't cool unless you poop your pants. Which
like that's the if was it if peeing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. That looks like a shirt that you buy for like a baby shower.
I believe it's a onesie, but
yeah, there you go. That's.
I feel like we could. I'll talk to Walkie Talkies or Neat, and we'll see if we can source it as your wedding shirt. Like,
fuck you guys.
We'll make sure it's got colors to it. It'll be great.
I have a shirt that says "groom" on it in cursive, but
that's fair.
That's it. Here's the problem. What am I going to do with that on the day after my wedding? Do I just have that forever and then?
So I got a shirt for I forget what it was on it, but it was some sort of comedic with regards to your wife killing you type. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
I bought it on a friend's bachelor party, and he hung it in his man cave, and that's what he did with it. That's a responsible thing to do.
Good way to do it. Yeah.
It's something, right? Realistically. After all is said and done, this is the best part about it, right? Is realistically, it's finding the right humor is good, and that's those kind of jokes. Like, you want to make sure you really take the time to have memorable moments in your wedding, right? I know we were supposed to talk about laughing and shit, but also this is important.
No, yeah, this can come up. Yeah,
it's very important, people. Atlas is joining the monastery. Turning into a monk, something like that.
Order, yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a friend's wedding over this weekend. That's what the road trip was for.
Wonderful.
And so ceremony, beautiful.
Wonderful.
Great reception. They had Indian food.
All right.
The venue only had 2 bathrooms.
Oh.
2 single bathrooms.
Oh. That's a choice.
Yeah. And it like the lines around the corner and stuff all the time, and the whole time I was like, this sucks, but also that's really fucking funny.
It's listen, see, and that's the kind of stuff where like where there are a lot of old people, because that makes it a lot funnier, because
there was a good amount,
because they will throw you right out of the fucking bathroom if they gotta use the get the fuck out of my way. I don't give a shit. They're like, oh, there's a lineup, I will fucking kill you just immediately. Do not. There is,
I'm not going into Depends yet. Get the fuck out of the way.
Oh, listen. There's a lot of things. Like Victoria did this hilariously, and she bought a basket of flip flops for the ladies' room, so that it was there. If you needed it, it was there. So if you wanted to change your shoes out, which every woman does at a wedding, they were gone. Before dinner were served, they were all gone.
Wow.
Like, okay. and they were just like dollar store, like nothing fancy, just like nice colors, comfortable. Mm-hmm. And she had, we had 177 people at our wedding. And she probably had like 35 or 40 of the things. And they were gone like immediately. I think a lot of women just put them in their purse. Like, I'm saying these things are later.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I should
write it down. Yeah.
Send that to Katie. That's smart.
My buddy is getting married in October, I believe, in 3 places. He's getting married here, and then I believe they're doing LA or Vancouver. I'm not sure. and then Hong Kong, which I'm like, he's like, you're welcome to come to all three. I'm like, go fuck yourself, you rich prick. But
what is it like? Shower, rehearsal,
no,
wedding?
no. It's gonna be wedding, full wedding. And I'm like,
what?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's like different family members or whatever.
Sure, let's
like,
say that's the reasoning behind it. I think he's just insane. So
he's loaded. That's what.
Well, he's also the guy who just got a Porsche, and he went and picked it up in Germany. I'm like, must be nice.
Yeah.
So
dazu go on the Autobahn.
Yeah. Yeah. He did that too.
Good.
Sent me pictures. I'm like, I fucking hate you. He's like, this is really scary. I'm like, I swear to God, I'm gonna murder you. But no, but that's so the whole thing is like little things like that are important. But like watching people line up for the bathroom is great. I saw one guy get so shit faced. Then he was in a stall and he had thrown up red wine everywhere. So it's like just like a puddle of red wine was growing from his stall, and it's like. You feel bad because he was like, "Hey man, it's a great party," and you're like, "Oh, okay, cool, man. That's gonna work out real bad."
I just imagine him. He's like over the toilet, "Body of Christ, blah!" Pretty fucking funny. Yeah,
bro. That's one of those things. It's like I don't think watching someone suffer from shitting their pants will ever not be funny to me. Just straight up, right? And also, like football to the groin, you can never say that that's not funny. Like
football to the groin, vomiting when you're like super drunk.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. I'll tell you that much.
No, that's
I
there's like that Republican. I think she's like a streamer or something where, she like does all this like posturing, and people are like, "We have this picture of you." Passed out drunk at a party and you like graphically shit yourself. And so like anytime she tries to say anything, people go, "This you?"
Yeah. Which like, you can never outlive that one. There's a picture of me throwing up somewhere. I think one of my best friends has it. I think
there is an imprinted memory on a Del Taco employee somewhere.
She goes to therapy. Yeah. She's like,
I don't know who that boy was.
Keeps on trying to open the door and says, "This is my fault. I didn't do it to him. I swear.
I was just mopping up for the night. I don't know, what did he want from me?"
I honestly like. Did you see the shout out to Cole? I asked him if everyone's seen the Waffle House girl catch a chair in the midair. And it's like there's a rumble going. It's an awesome video. If you Google Waffle House chair catcher and punch, sure,
punch Izaru.
But like,
no, I know who that is.
And you're like, that was like a Captain America fucking thing, right? It was awesome. And but it's like, yo, like fast food workers, they need a lot more respect than they get. And you're like, yo,
they need a lot more money than they get.
I don't think you can ever be paid enough. Like even when I worked at a bank, like tellers make the least amount of money. They're the front line. Absolutely.
Oh,
bro, that's not no, they do not make like, it's not, you will incrementally make more over time, but like it maxes out at like what, $20 an hour? That's not money that you can survive on, right? Like that's money that you can help the family out, but you're not paying for,
or live together with your girlfriend who makes more money than you. And
sure, yeah. But that's like it's not a good position, and that's why like when I see like somebody throw a drink at a cashier, I'm like, I would jump over and I would beat that person with ice cubes. I would beat them to death with ice cubes and just jam it. Be like, "How's sugar heaven, motherfucker?" Just bop, bop, bop. Because it's there's no. That's one thing. Like people who like, look, you can trip a child. That's fair. They probably deserved it. They're running around talking too much. It's fine. But if you
there's
trip
an entire subreddit called "Children Falling Over" that is just fantastic.
Listen, children and like children hurting themselves or children on children violence.
No, not getting hurt, but just kind of like face planting or whatever.
Yeah.
Children. Yeah. Or there was that time when I was 10 and I took my friend Michael's BMX bike off a jump in his backyard and it landed in the rose bushes in the neighbor's yard.
which
was fucking painful, by the way.
I can imagine. Seeing a rose bush. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a thing. But that's the thing is everyone was going to laugh at that.
Yeah, no.
I feel like that's.
It was the thing where, like, when his mom was like patching me up, she was like, "You're gonna be fine, sweet." I'm like bawling because I have thorns sticking out of me everywhere.
Absolutely.
Like, you're fine. You're. I'll be over here. Just keep pulling thorns out of yourself. You know. Like,
it is funny. Have you seen videos of guys who are like, "I'm gonna be famous. What do I have to do?" And they're like, jump into that cactus. Guy's like, "No problem." And you're like, "Big problem, bro."
Yeah.
Cactus, definitely. Yeah. Cacti are vengeful. Okay. Yeah. They can survive using photosynthesis, but they're like also die. Like it's not.
There was one time when I was a kid, my cousin was over, and he I think he had undiagnosed ADHD at the time because he was like living chaos. This kid, he's like 11, and he in my parents' backyard they had a cactus with these like ridiculously long spikes, like really like way longer than the pad the plant was. It was like it's this big and the spine is like this or whatever. So he's like, I'm gonna cut up that cactus, and my sister and I, who are like 6 and 9 or whatever, are like, no, don't do that. And he's like, I'll be fine. He leaves and comes back. He's covered in blood because
immediately,
because he's an idiot. And he didn't realize that it wasn't like a smooth spike that he could turn into a sword. It had edges, and then he just kind of kept it just fucking covered in blood.
It's not funny. It's not funny.
He walks in, and like I could see the look on my sister's face that was like, "You look like the guy from my one of the slides from Sex Ed or something." Like just fucking just idiot. He's cool now.
That's California Sex Ed people. That's not everywhere else.
No, that's not like
it's like vampire sex ed. I don't know.
No, it's so every month your uterus will slough off your uterine, or your egg will slough off your uterine wall. And well, they tell you like that, and then I know on the girls' side because they split us, right? They split you into two. They're like, okay, the egg will slough off the uterine wall. Also, you're going to bleed horribly for 6 days. They didn't tell us that on the boys' side.
Do you honestly think that should be separate? Because I feel like boys would have a more respect for what women go through.
I think
that's dangerous knowledge, right? Because men are very stupid. And they're like, you on your period? And you're like, don't say that. Don't say that.
I think in the grand scheme of things, it's probably better. But in terms of like trying to control a class full of 10-year-olds, fuck no. I don't.
I wouldn't be able to keep a straight face for sure.
If you got to do that, but also duct tape all their mouths shut before you start teaching the lesson, that'd be useful.
I feel like duct tape is more. Duct tape is something they need to bring back.
It was never there to begin with. Oh my god!
Maybe it's just Canada. I don't know.
Jesus Christ, Canada! What the fuck are you up to?
Violence, lots of violence up here. No, there's
of indigenous people. Yes.
Jesus, bro, the stories I'm hearing, like, I'm happy that I get all the benefits of a white guy, but also I can call white people honkies because I have Greek lineage and my parents migrated to this country. I have no guilt for its past crimes. But at the same time, you're like, did no one think about this? Like, God, right? Like, that's when violence becomes unfunny, right? You can trip a kid. Don't do it anymore. That's horrible. Don't be horrible people, right? Like, it's the same idea where watching women punch a man and the man is completely unaffected and you just see him going, please don't do that again. I really did not enjoy it. I don't like being touched with a fist. Yeah. And she's like, I'll do it again. You're like, listen, jackass, please don't do that. It's not funny. But then I have seen a woman drop a guy and it was really funny because, hey, and you're like, hey, you got to put him. When you see somebody knocked out, you're like, okay, put him in recovery position. No, you don't want him to get hurt. That's not just give him a little, smelling salts or something, because you're like, it's funny unless somebody's like, oh, now I got brain damage. You're like, oh, that's not funny. No, that's sad, right? That's why I think we need to bring back like rubber frying pans to shows where people like, bing. Have you ever seen? It's like a, I don't know, something in Europe. People were rioting, type protesting something, and some guy pulls out a frying pan and hits him, and they're like, dunk. But then somebody turned it into like the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, like, dunk, 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 and like it's hilarious. And then you're like. Frying pan to the face, always funny. Will always be funny.
I've always liked the idea of like wanging someone over the back of the head with a frying pan. Obviously, would never do it. I feel like the closest you could get for the sound that you're looking for without seriously hurting them would be like a bedpan.
That like would the acoustics would match.
Yeah, sure. Like the acoustics would match, but you wouldn't like I don't know, give them a concussion or cave in their skull. Yeah,
you'd probably. Get concussion. Came in the skull. No, you'd have to really wail on it. Frying pan, both of them.
Frying pans, they're dead. Yeah. Cast iron frying pan, they're fucking dead. Yeah.
Still hilarious though. I have to admit, that's one thing I will always remember. But
remember about what?
That video. I'll never just be like frying pans to the face is fucking jokes. Not for the people getting it, but the person delivering.
You got to send that to me.
I will definitely send it to you.
Yeah, that's really funny.
It really is because it starts and you're like, "Hey, is that?" And then it goes and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's good."
There's also that video where it's the guy. I think he has Tourette's, where he's like carrying a hot pot and he's like burning himself.
Fuck.
And then he bangs his head on the ceiling and like glass goes everywhere. Running out. So somebody like did the fucks and everything to like Africa.
There's lots of songs with it and everyone is gold.
Yeah.
I like it's times where I'm like the internet is the worst thing that has ever happened to mankind, but then you see something like that and you're like, there's still hope. We got this. Come on. We'll tough it out.
Kevin's famous chili in the office. The fact that I only had to say 3 words and you're already cracking up is evidence enough.
When he takes the paper and tries to scoop it back in, you're just like, he's like, that wasn't planned. There's that part of it. He goes originally give me like a hard thing. He's like, no. It's got to be flimsy. And he grabbed like a flimsy, like, Kevin ultimately is the greatest character I've ever seen on that show. And you heard about the conspiracy around him, how he's like, people just wanted to meet him eventually. And then it was like, that's how he gets a steak in a bar. And then he's just like, just always hanging out. And people are like, hey man, this is great. Like there's a crazy conspiracy there. Like he's Kaiser Soze.
The theory he's laundering laundering money for Dunder Mifflin. No, he's stealing money from Dunder Mifflin. Yeah,
he's in accounts, which you're like, that's number one, hands down. That's especially when he apparently he goes to play poker and he's wearing like a bracelet that you win at a poker tournament, and then he gets his ass kicked. He's like, this place is bullshit. Yeah. And then he doesn't get picked for the basketball game, and then he like 3 points just. They're like, that was just him.
Yeah.
While we were on break, and then the camera turned around and was like, holy fuck, because he's just sinking it, just nothing but net from everywhere in the place. And they're like, what the fuck? How? It's hilarious.
Oh, because it's the thing where Michael picks the black people first. That's the right.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's I tell you, it's stuff like that. See. By the way, it's those kind of things will never not be funny. Mm-hmm. I have no doubt about it. But hey, I think
like there was a Roman emperor who laughed himself to death because he watched a goat drunkenly try to eat figs, and he was like, "That's super fucking funny." I just died because
having seen a goat try and eat a fig. If it was unsuccessful, that's definitely funny. Yeah. It's goats are really peculiar. Like, and also like you'll just look up into a tree and there's a goat in the tree, and you're like, Jesus, because they're not small. Yeah. It's a very, and also too, like in Greece, you'll see like a mountain and then you just goat, and you're like, how? What the fuck is that goat doing? They're like,
because they can climb like anything, right? That's the
anything. It's the most insane thing you've ever seen. That's for sure. But
nice.
Watching them fall, also hilarious. Watching them hit someone unsuspectingly, whoo! That will make your day, if not two. Where you're just going, just totally, bam, just out. It's like watching someone get knocked over by a car. It's as long as they're okay, it's very entertaining to watch.
Or like they get hit, they like do a little flip and then like, yeah.
I have a video of a Greek guy getting hit on a bike. Mm-hmm. And he launches. So the bike goes over the car. Yeah. He launches into the air, falls, gets up and goes, "What the shit? Your light was red." Yeah. And I only understand because it's in Greek. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't know where that is. That's madness. I love it. It's great.
Oh,
now, I really feel like you have to figure out how to unlock physical humor, because it is a scam. Like, some people will use it and you're like, you bastard. That's not fair. You're not that funny.
Because it's the easy way out?
Like, it's not, though. Like, physical humor is not easy, but at the same time, like, it's always hilarious. Even when someone does bad physical humor, it's still funny.
Yeah,
that's the right. Like, and that's why it's like people who really lean into it. Like, I don't know. I don't feel that it's fair, but at the same time, it's never not funny. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
No, it like if there's like a threshold to above this line is funny, below this line is not funny. Yeah. Right? For physical humor, the floor is super low, but the ceiling is super high, because like you can keep perfecting it forever, but it's still funny. It's just, how funny is it?
You know? Also true.
Yeah,
I
keep using the floor ceiling thing with like everything I talk about, but it comes in handy.
It is. Well, listen, everyone knows what a floor and what a ceiling is, right? You've created a world that they can perceive.
So I guess the people, or the thing I want to ask our viewers and or listeners is, what is the funniest like physical thing you've witnessed, either by accident or on purpose, whatever? Leave it in the comments below, or tweet at us at Generation Dan, or at Generation_Dan on Instagram. Either of those, where can they find you?
Dino the Genetic Marvel. Just Google it. If you don't Google it, it's not worth it. That's the one. I'm like, you have to put like just a little bit of effort, just a little bit, and then I'll take over.
I mean, I don't blame people for like messing up on genetic. They're like, does genetic have an A in it? Like,
I'm the only one that goes by it. So I had somebody challenge me. They're like, you can't go by that. I'm like, no, because I can, for the simple fact that I've lost almost about 140 pounds at this point, and I still nice and smooth. No chesticles.
Yeah.
My chest is manly. I have pecs. I don't have a.
I'm 230 and 6 foot and and some change between 6 foot and 6'1".
Yeah.
So much. Anyway, you can find me at Atlas Novak on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. You can also follow my other podcast at Generation Dan, or not Generation Dan, sorry, in Nexus at Night mode. Follow it at Nexus at Night, Twitter, Instagram. That's about a trading card game called Vanguard. Yeah. And thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone.
We're going to be here.